Hey guys, it's Angie with Lucky Little Learners, and I am here today to talk to you guys all about teaching your students about main idea and the supporting our key details. Before we get started, I know some of you that have caught me live in the past have been used to seeing me talking about math because, as some of you do know, I do have my master's degree in mathematics, but I have taught K1, 2, and that of course entails ELA, literacy, reading, writing, spelling, phonics, vocabulary, all that good stuff, along with the math, which is something of course that I love. So hey Jen, so I wanted to explain to you a little bit about that reading ELA side of me, because like I said, oftentimes you hear me talking about math. In the past, I have served as a grade level team leader. I've also served as on the reading curriculum committee for my school district. We were adopting a new reading series. Hey, Michelle. And then I've also served as the child study team rep, where we have figured out interventions for students in areas of math, reading, literacy, writing, and behavior interventions. So my true love is with math. I have a wide variety of experience in all areas, and it's teaching, you guys, right? Like elementary teachers, we teach all the grade levels. So I am excited today to talk to you guys about teaching your students about main idea and key details. So before we get started, just a couple of taking care of business items. You will see that there is, let's see, I'm always backwards here. There is text over here that says, type the words Lucky Videos into the comment section. If you do that, the text Lucky Videos will get you on a list to receive a notification anytime that I go live, because I am planning to do a series of reading training videos on Facebook here. I'm hoping for weekly if I can get myself together enough to do these on a weekly basis. I'm shooting for something very consistent. So again, if you type Lucky Videos, give it about 5 minutes, and then I will shoot you back a message that gets you all set up for receiving notifications when I go live. Okay, so let's get started. We are here, like I said, to talk about teaching your students this very important skill. Now, when I looked at the standards, I understand. A lot of you use Common Core, but not everyone. I know Texas uses TEKS standards. I know that, I think it's Ohio has their own set of standards. Florida has their own set of standards. And I understand that. When I looked at all the different state standards that I could look at, including Common Core, main idea, teaching main idea, and all the gamuts that surround main idea are something that we have to teach in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and on, no matter what state you live in. So when I was thinking about a series of reading strategy videos to do with you guys, main idea and key details was overwhelmingly the #1 response I got in my Facebook group when I had reached out to everyone else. So we're going to start there. And when we teach about this concept, we want to make sure that we are scaffolding and that we start small. You aren't going to, I think about as a new teacher, and I hate to even admit this, before I really got a firm handle on teaching, main idea and key details would come up, and I just thought, you know what, here's another story or another passage with a cute little graphic organizer, and we're just gonna try to work this out through this together. And then if you don't get it the first time, we're gonna repeat it, and we're gonna do another graphic organizer with another story. And it's not an effective way, because you've got to start small, and you've got to start at a level of understanding that they're going to get, and then work your way up to achieve that final goal of being able to pull it out of a passage or be able to write it for themselves. So let's get started on this step-by-step process I use when I teach my students. So the very first thing when I'm teaching this skill is I'm going to start with introducing just the general description or definition of what this means, main idea, details. Because when I'm working with this skill, and it's going to take about 2 weeks of intentional instruction to get to mastery. When I'm using this term, main idea and details, I want them to understand kind of what I'm even referring to. Now, one of my favorite ways to do this, and I think it's overlooked often, is through a read aloud. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite read alouds when it comes to specifically main idea and details. And as you guys are watching me show these, I would love to hear from you. What are some of your favorites? Because there are so many good ones out there. I think I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to show you. So if you have a favorite, please pop it in the comment section. We'd love to learn from each other. One of my favorites is The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes. This is a great book that has a very clear main idea and supporting details, and it also goes with that whole growth mindset. So great story, great book to do with this concept, introducing it. Pinkalicious, another fan favorite. Students love Pinkalicious and all the other ones that go with the set. Again, very clear main idea and key details. Wemberly Worried is another very good one. Very clear main idea, very clear details. It lends itself really nicely to talking about that topic. Another good one that talks about social skills actually is Tattletale. I think all students will benefit from the story of Tattletale, but it's also good for teaching the concept of main idea and details. And then another one is She's Got This. This is a newer book, I believe, by Lori Hernandez. She is the Olympic gymnast. She wrote this story. It's a wonderful book. I actually initially bought it for my daughter who loves gymnastics, but this has a great message in it. And I will also say, when you're doing these read-alouds, it's not just that you're talking about main idea and key details. Diane, all Hankey's books are great for this. Thank you for that input. Anyone else have anything? But when I'm teaching this skill, I'm going to do things like, I'm going to cover the words of the title, and I'm going to say, boys and girls, what do you see on the front of this book? We're going to read this story. What would be a great title that would go along with this story? And then you're not going to stop there. So I would cover that with Post-it notes or with paper. And then I'm going to say, if they give some suggestions, I'm going to say, well, why would you say that is a good title? Or what in the pictures would tell you that this would be a good title for this story? And you're going to go and expand on that through that process. And the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to model your thinking. So if the kids aren't giving you what you need to play as if you're the student and just do that think aloud and talk about what it is that is on your mind so that they can learn to do this. And like I said, this is not something that they're going to get in one day. And so you're going to do this repetitively throughout the process. So read alouds, a very good way of teaching main idea and key details. Another one would be for introducing the concept. There are some wonderful instructional videos out there. And one of my favorites would be one that is made by Brain Pop Jr. And if you don't have a subscription to it, if you go to YouTube and then you type in main idea and details, Brain Pop Jr., you will get that video. And it does a beautiful job of explaining it and defining it in a kid-friendly way that kids will understand. I have about 4 or 5 other video suggestions up on my website, and I will drop that link in the comment section. Actually, I think it's already in there for you so that you can see the rest, or just to go to YouTube or wherever, whatever search engine you use for videos, and you'd be surprised at how many free ones are out there. And then another thing I like to do is I do like to use anchor charts to teach my students about this skill. Now I'm going to flip my computer up a little bit, and you are going to see an example of one of the anchor charts that I like to use. Now, I will say this because I know there is always teachers that challenge me on this. I like cute anchor charts. So sue me. I do. I like them. They're attractive, and I enjoy making them. So I also understand that an anchor chart, a true anchor chart, is done with the students. And so what I do is I bring my anchor chart paper home. I would make the pot, the stem, the petals, and I would make that in the comforts of my home, and I would laminate it. And then I would bring it to school, and then they're going to help me determine what is the main idea, what are details, and then they're going to actually help in the process of adding in those details and main idea on the Post-it note or just a write and wipe type of a scenario on the laminate. One other thing I will mention is that I enjoy doing with these, I like to have corresponding student anchor charts that go with the anchor charts that we do in class. Now, As you can see, this one matches exactly. And so what I would do is I would give my students the copy of this while I'm having us go through this one together. And then that's the way they're all actively engaged and they are all participating in the skill themselves, okay? If you are on my email list, you would have received this today. This was our weekly email freebie of this week. So if you haven't checked your email yet, make sure you go and grab that. If you did not get this, or if you're not on my email list, I do send emails out every week for my email subscribers, and they always get something free. And so if you don't have this, email me at Angie@luckylittlelearners.com, and I will send you the link to get signed up for our weekly email freebies. So again, anchor charts are a great way to introduce that skill. So keeping going with the scaffolding thought, starting small, working in, adding those layers of complexity, we're going to move on to objects. Now you'll see in the background you've got some mystery bags. I absolutely love this activity because there are many things you can do with it. The first thing I'm going to show you is an activity called What Doesn't Belong. And so what I would do for the first couple times of doing this with my students, I'd say, boys and girls, I have some really special items in this bag. 3 things go together like a collection. 1 thing does not belong. Which item does not belong? And so then what they're going to do is they're just going to have a marker board or a piece of notebook paper, or maybe they even have something like this where they have a little recording sheet and they draw in the items as we pull them out together. And then what we do, so if I was doing this with my students, we would say, okay, there's a toothbrush. We also have some toothpaste. We have a comb. And we have floss. So boys and girls, looking at these 4 items, which one would not belong? And so then we would talk about that. And maybe we'd go and turn to our turn and teach partner, and the kids would have an opportunity to discuss this. So they're all actively engaged. They might write their answer on their marker board, on their notebook paper, or even on this. And they're going to say, the item that does not belong is the comb. And then you're going to take it a step further and say, because these 3 items are used to take care of your teeth. Okay, and so it as basic as it sounds, this is the preliminary first couple steps to teaching the bigger idea of main idea and details. Going along with the mystery bags, another one that hi Carolyn, another one I enjoy is simply called What's the Main Idea? So now instead of having 4 items, we have 3 items. And inside this bag, I'm going to say, boys and girls, the 3 items in this bag all have something to do with each other. I want you to tell me what would be the main idea. I'm going to use that language. I'm going to use that vocabulary. What it would be the main idea or the main topic of what is all in this bag. So again, we're going to pull it out. And I see, oh, boys and girls, we see we've got some kind of a stick. I wonder what this would be. And then what else do we have? We have a collar. And then as you can see, it's hard for you guys to see on your end, but on my end, you can see the true size of it. And the reason I mention that is because they're going to say, oh, well, this is too big to fit a cat, but it is kind of small. And so then there's the whole puppy thing. And then the last clue being puppy treats. And so these would be 3 things that you would use to train a puppy. Okay. And again, paying attention to all those details because this isn't a full-size dog collar. And again, if you're in person, you can see it's too big for a cat, too small for a full-size dog. And so you're going to discuss those details. And, there's a dog on the treats. And yes, I can see that. And this would be for their teeth as they're really chewing and teething. And you can go into all the details of that. Again, write the answers on their marker board. The main idea of this bag is, it could be on notebook paper or it could be on something like this where they draw the 3 items and then they put the main idea of the items in this bag is. Okay. As I'm showing you guys these activities, all of these are in a supplemental main idea pack that is updated, or not even updated, it's brand new on TPT. So the link is in the comment section, and I will go back, and if you need the link and can't find it, I will just have you comment in the comment section and I will give you the link directly myself. It is discounted for the next 24 hours. The next thing that I do is simply photos. So there are a lot of free websites out there hey Catherine, a lot of free websites out there that offer beautiful, eye-catching photos that kids would be appealed find appealing. One of them is Kiddle. If you've never heard of Kiddle.com, it is a, like I said, kid-friendly, safe website where you can find beautiful photos and show them to your students. And the reason I'm telling you about these is because what you're going to do is you're going to pop that photo up on your smartboard or on just on a screen, or if you have to print it out or whatever you need, put them on their iPads. Hi, Jordan. And you're going to ask the kids, boys and girls, if this was the front cover of a book, what would be a good title, or what do you think is the main idea of what is happening in this picture? And again, you're going to go through that process. Why do you feel that way? You're going to ask them questions that are going to lead them to a more defined, a more specific answer to give them that really good quality modeling lesson. So Kiddle.com, kidsdiscover.com is another good free kid-friendly website. National Geographic's for Kids is another good one. If you have any other suggestions, we learn from each other. Amy, Kiddle is Kiddle, yes. If you have any other good website suggestions, please pop them in the comment section. I just think that you go from objects to photos, and now we're going to go on to words, that scaffolding complexity that we're going to slowly layer so that the kids end up getting this concept down. So moving on from objects to photos to words, another idea is called a main idea word sort. So I have, what I like to do with these is I give the kids a set of words, and the words are going to be cut out, and then they're going to be sorted into 3 groups. And when they are sorting into 3 groups, they're going to decide what would be a good topic or a main idea of each group. So I do have an example cut out already. And I'm going to show you some words, and just for the fun of it, I want you to start popping up some of the topics that you think might be the answer. So we've got clocks. I'm going to go through these quick with you. Soda, we call it pop in Minnesota. Tape measure, juice, gym, classroom. If you have any ideas, type them in. Hammer, tea, milk, principal, a drill press, lemonade. I'm seeing some answers in here. Coffee, teacher, couple more. There's 18 words total. Drill, saw, and screwdriver. So I'm seeing school, places, beverages, drinks, tools, drinks, tools, tool, places. So you guys are spot on. This is what the recording sheet would look like. So they are going to place, glue those down, tools, things to drink, what you see in school. And again, a variety of those. And so we're going to go through this. My high kids are going to be able to do this independently. My kids that are at grade level are probably going to do this with a partner. The kids that are really struggling and might not even have an easy time reading the words, they're going to come to the teacher table with me, and we're going to go through this together in a small group setting. So that's an easily differentiated activity. Okay, so again, word sorts, word categories, word sorting, great activity to scaffold into main idea in details. So let's keep moving forward. Once we go from objects to photos to word sorts, now we're going to work into sentences, except we're not giving them a full-blown book yet. We are going to play a game or activity called Which Detail Does Not Belong. Now, we have to get a little creative here because I don't have a smart board behind me, but I want you to pretend like you have a this is being displayed on the smart board. It's being displayed on just like a drop-down screen or just a plain marker board. Maybe you've printed this out and you've stuck it under your document camera for the kids to see. Or maybe this is just done in small group because you don't have any of these those tools. I'm assuming you guys want to have at least one of those. So what's going to happen is you're going to show the kids, again, this is going to be displayed large for them. And basically what you're going to do is you are going to read through the main idea and the key details together, and then the students are going to use either a recording sheet or they're going to use their marker boards, and they are going to figure out which detail does not belong. So if the main idea is bees are very important insects, and you can see the 3 key details. We're going to read them. I'm just going to read them together because I have something I want to say about this. A, bees help flowers grow by spreading pollen and seeds from flower to flower. B, my brother got stung in the foot by a bee. C, bees pollinate many plants that produce food. Or D, some bees make honey and beeswax. You will see that these all have to do with bees, but obviously letter B would not be a key detail. And why? Because it does not go back and relate to the main idea, which is that bees are very important insects. Now, this activity I love, but here is one thing I will say about this, is you do have to have that one key detail that does not belong be something that is somewhat related to the rest of the sentences. Like, this one's like, each person in my family has a special talent. And then it goes on to talk about what dad does, what mom does, what brother does. If I said cantaloupe is my favorite fruit, well, obviously that's the detail that does not belong. But instead, I'm going to pick something that goes somewhat with the main idea, but it's not a key detail. So for this one, obviously C, there are 5 people in my family, would be the main, or the detail that does not belong. So an activity similar to this, Hey Stacy, would be a great activity to continue to scaffold that process of learning main idea and key details. So moving on, still providing those sentences, here is another activity. So again, displaying it digitally, however you need to display it. Up on your board, it's going to be called What's the Main Idea, where you provide the 3 key details, and then your students determine what the main idea is after reading those 3 details. So just a little bit trickier. So again, a safety helmet protects the snowboarder's head. Waterproof gloves keep a snowboarder's hands warm. Bindings attach the snowboarder's boots to the snowboard. So what would be the main idea to this? And this one would be wonderful for conversation. Instead of just immediately arriving at the answer, boys and girls, what do you think would be a good main idea for this? And you're going to start getting those answers in. And as you're getting these answers, you're going to have that conversation like, is there any way we can make that more specific? Or why do you think that's a good main idea? Or what about the key details led you to that answer? And so you're going to go through that process, you guys, of that conversation. And that is where the learning happens. That is the key. That is essential. And again, this is something that is in that pack and has a recording sheet with it. Or you can just write these up yourself too if you'd rather. I don't know about you, but I just like to have the things ready because I don't always come up with it off the top of my head when I'm teaching. So to have something like this ready to go is just real nice. And there's a whole slew of them, both fiction and nonfiction, all kinds of them here. So another great idea for teaching that. Okay, so moving forward, and we're actually almost done here. So once we've gone through those sentences like that, and if you're wondering, my notes are down here, that's why I'm looking down. Then the next one moving forward would be the actual sharing of short stories or paragraphs that are at their text reading level. Again, standards say both main idea needs to be taught with both fiction and nonfiction text selections. And so here's an example of a nonfiction one. This is in my brand new Reading Toothy set. I just launched that last week and teachers are loving it. So if you want the link to that, let me know. But this would be an example of a nonfiction text selection about the rainforest. Again, at 2nd grade reading level, the kids would read that, and then they're going to go through the questions on the Toothy cards. For every correct answer they get right, then they would put the tooth in Toothy's mouth. But you're just seeing that scaffolded approach of we started with objects, we moved to photos, we moved to words, we moved to sentences, now we're getting to those paragraphs, short stories, and then eventually that last step, which our standards talk about, is being able to take a 2nd grade text level or whatever grade you're working with, and you're going to give them that book. And you're going to give them the graphic organizer or just a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything crazy like this. And you are going to ask them, what is the main idea? What are those key details? And how do they fit with that story? And I wanted to show you, I'm not seeing it here. I have other recording graphic organizers that I love. Oh, here they are. These are 2 more that are in that pack that I just uploaded to my store. So again, easy enough where you could draw your own anchor chart to match that. And then you can also see in the background, you guys, I should show you this. Inside of that pack, are craftivities that go along with that, so that you could use it with any book, any text selection, and they could either do it on a graphic organizer, do it on a craftivity, or you could make your own anchor chart like that. And these are simple, like super simple, you guys. These four, all four, you could literally draw that out on a piece of paper real quick and make your own anchor chart like that. So anyways, you guys, this is the extent of what I wanted to show you. Again, just emphasizing the importance of scaffolding, starting small, working your way up until your kids have mastered the skill. Again, if you would like to receive more of these videos and you want to be notified of my next one, which I'm hoping to be next week, type in the words Lucky Videos to the comment section of this, and I will send you a message and we will get you set up to receive a notification when I go live so you don't miss any more. If you miss the freebie, which would be this graphic organizer, email me at Angie@luckylittlelearners.com and I will get you set up with this freebie and send it to you. No questions asked, all completely free. And then lastly, if you want any of the items shown in this video, it is in my TPT store, Lucky Little Learners. So thanks you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you found this valuable and I hope that you found it helpful. And I look forward to next week's training. Thanks so much.